On April 19th, 2024, the YouTube channel Watcher uploaded an announcement video. But this wasn't your typical YouTuber announcement. They weren't taking a break, they weren't moving house, it was none of that. Instead, they announced a change that turned their devoted fan base completely against them.
As sad as it is to say goodbye to YouTube, it's the right thing to do.
It was indeed not the right thing to do. Watcher is a YouTube group whose biggest videos focus on mysteries, but they also do other things such as playing games and making rankings. And these videos are very high production. I mean, they have a whole 25-person crew working on it. They do make good videos, you know, and they have a fan base that really cares about them. And so with all of that, you know, what could possibly go wrong, right? Well, it is the title of the video. They wanted to create their very own streaming service. Their plan was to basically completely leave YouTube for their brand new platform. And okay, listen, I have plenty to say on why I don't think this will work. I feel like there is a lot that they messed up with. But first, let's listen to them. Let's see what points they have and like why they're doing this. Their main reason for making this is to not be restricted by advertisers. They kind of talk about in this video how their goal is to make their videos up to the same level as a television show.
We want to make a studio or a platform where we could make unscripted television caliber content on the internet.
And so to achieve this high goal that they've set for themselves, they really need to rely on sponsors and advertisers to make money and to afford what they want to do. But that's an issue for them, right? Because they don't want their content to suffer by having to make it advertiser friendly, which I completely understand. I don't think anyone can be mad about the fact that they want to create the content that they want to make. They want to make high quality stuff and not be forced to do something or forced to leave stuff out. And it is really annoying because like advertisers can kind of control what you can and can't say, right? I don't know, there's this trend on TikTok right now where instead of saying, you know, somebody killed themselves or somebody killed someone else, people will say, oh, they unalived someone.
People have been calling him a serial unaliver, but...
And I just find that really annoying, right? Because the only reason creators are saying this are to try and get around TikTok or YouTube or whatever from demonetizing their videos or not pushing it out as much for having bad words in them. And it's just kind of annoying that creators have to censor themselves in these really annoying and stupid ways in order to make money off of their content, you know? So yeah, I don't think anyone can be mad about these creators wanting to make the stuff that they want to do, right? The Watcher should completely be allowed to do that. But the way that they are kind of doing that is a little weird, and I don't fully agree with it because their plan was to put all of their content behind a monthly subscription, and then they would only upload the first episode of each season to YouTube. And that's just kind of like the biggest middle finger to all of their fans ever. It kind of sucks that like for multiple years you've been able to watch the Watcher stuff completely for free, right? There are ads, but YouTube is a free platform. And then just kind of saying like F you to all your fans, you have to pay for it now, even though you've had it for free for ever. That's weird. The cost of their subscription is $6 per month, which, as they say,
we want to keep the price low enough where anybody and everybody is able to afford it.
They've been ripped into, okay? And when I say ripped into, I mean it, for just how privileged and incorrect this statement of theirs is. You know, there are many people who are living paycheck to paycheck and need every single dollar they can get. And even people who aren't living paycheck to paycheck and are somewhat comfortable, money is still important, right? $6 is a lot of money to a lot of people. And keep in mind, right? This is $6 for one YouTube channel. $6 every single month for a single channel. I'm sorry, but how is that even fathomably close to worth it? Now, there have been many comments and many videos made about how disappointing this is, and it could have all been avoided if they just talked to their audience about it. They're in an incredibly lucky place where they can just ask their audience directly if they would pay for this or not, and then they would have seen a big fat no, and then they could have done something else. At this point though, it's kind of too late, right? They've already made the website, they've already paid for everything. It would just be a massive loss for them if they didn't at least do something with it. And so they did see all of this backlash and they ended up making a response to it. So let's go look at that response, okay? Let's go right now.
Hey everyone, last Friday we announced that we're leaving YouTube and launching our new streaming platform.
We messed up.
Their response is honestly pretty good. They plainly say they messed up and they own up to their mistake. I think that everyone's allowed to make mistakes, right? A very costly mistake that lost them a lot of trust from their fan base, but still just a mistake. As long as they keep to what they said in this video, they'll probably get that trust back in time. Now, as I said before, they can't really not use the streaming service after all the time and money they put into it, and they know this too. And so the solution that they've come up with is they will release a video a month early on their platform and then upload them to YouTube for free later, which that seems like the best they could have done at this point. It still is unfortunate for them. I feel like there's not going to be many people who will pay for this. When you're going to get the content for free anyways, just a little bit later, why would you pay? This is basically just like a glorified Patreon at this point. And like, this wasn't their original plan. They wanted this platform to be a lot bigger than that. I feel like they just had to think it through a little bit more. It seemed kind of like a rushed thing in my opinion. Now, there are two channels who are doing very similar things to what The Watcher is doing, where they are creating their own streaming services. They just did it in a much better way. One started this a very long while ago and is very successful in it, and the other one actually announced theirs after The Watcher, and it's really funny because it was seen in a much better light. Let's talk about why, okay? Now, the more recent one was made by the people over at the Try Guys, which, if you don't know them, as the name implies, it's full of guys who try things. Pretty cool. And what's really funny about both the Try Guys and The Watcher is the hosts of both channels actually originated from BuzzFeed, which used to be an absolute Goliath on YouTube, posting very interesting things that would definitely not fly on YouTube nowadays. But looking at their channel today, they don't even know that shorts can't be over a minute long. So it's kind of sad, honestly. I feel kind of bad. I don't know. But on May 22nd, 2024, a video titled "The New Try Guys" appeared on the Try Guys channel. In it, they explained their new subscription service, Second Try. But with one absolutely massive difference that is the reason why the Try Guys are doing it so much better than The Watcher did. They are keeping everything on YouTube the exact same. They won't be slowing down their uploads at all. They're keeping all the same content. The only change is that they're uploading more to their subscription service.
You're still gonna get all the free stuff you're used to seeing right here. But on Second Try, you're gonna get early access to old favorites.
Ooh, uncensored content that YouTube won't allow.
Oh, exclusive new stuff just for you!
Something that The Watcher wasn't even attempting with the whole one episode on YouTube and then the rest on their platform. The Watcher was just trying to do way too big of a change way too fast. And that's just not how that works, right? You're just blindsiding your audience. Another thing that the Try Guys are doing really well compared to what The Watcher is doing is just having enough people. And I don't mean having enough employees, right? The Watcher has 25 employees. No, what I mean is the actual on-screen talent. The Watcher has these three main guys, and then there's just one guy in one of their shows, but for right now, that seems like it's it. That's like watching Netflix, but you can only watch movies that have the same three actors in all of them. You would just not pay for that. Whereas in their announcement video, the Try Guys explain how they're adding a bunch more people to the cast. So that just makes it seem like it's so much more worth it, right? I'd much rather pay for something that has a larger cast of people because I know that there's going to be more content coming from it. And I feel like having a streaming service for like 3 people doesn't make sense to me. That seems kind of weird and like overkill. And lastly, the most apparent difference is just the subscriber count, right? The Watcher has under 3 million subscribers, whereas the Try Guys have over 8, which I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty big difference. That's a lot more people. And now I did mention another channel who has made a subscription service and has done really well with it. And that channel is Dropout, right? And they used to be named College Humor, and they've been around for forever, but 6 years ago they decided to start their new platform, and they've been very successful. They've created tons and tons of shows, have a bunch of people in their cast, and I mean, it's been going on for 6 years, so clearly they're doing something right. And I'm going to be repeating myself, but the reason I believe Dropout is so successful is why I also believe that the Try Guys are going to be successful. After announcing their platform, Dropout didn't slow down their uploads. They kept it the exact same. They have a massive cast of people on the platform, and when they created it, start, they already had 13 million subscribers on YouTube, which is far more than either of the other channels. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably being a little bit too critical on The Watcher. I'm sure that their platform can and will improve, but like for now, there doesn't really seem to be much reason to use their platform. They're not really doing any of the things that I talked about that the other channels are doing really well. They're gonna be uploading consistently to YouTube after the response video and everyone got mad at them, but that does mean that there's no like exclusivity on their platform. There's no reason to use it. If all the same videos are being uploaded to YouTube, why would you pay to have them? And then they have a smaller cast than the rest, but that's something that can be built upon. And they also just are a smaller platform. And I feel like this was kind of a premature change for them, but that is not quite where I'm gonna end this video, because I just have one more little thing to talk about, okay? Before there was The Watcher, before there was Second Try, before there even was Dropout, there was StoryFire.
You've got mail.
Now, I'm going to be completely transparent here, okay? There is a lot that happened with StoryFire. This website has been the center of controversy for so many years that it would be impossible to go over everything. So I am going to be giving you guys all of like the big important things, but there are some smaller things that I'm keeping out that aren't really as important. Capiche? Okay, all right, cool. Glad we figured that out. But welcome to StoryFire, okay? A tale of loss, a tale of backstabbing, a tale of more loss monetarily. There was so much money lost in this. It's actually ridiculous. This project was funded by YouTuber McJuggerNuggets, or Jesse Ridgway. He was a creator who rose to fame on a much earlier era of YouTube. Just looking at a list of his most popular videos, you see this very well. Psycho Dad shreds video games. Psycho Dad drowns Xbox. Psycho Kid ruins Thanksgiving. These are all a part of a series of his called the Psycho Dad series. And he's made multiple series that have spanned hundreds of episodes. That was kind of his thing. And what was also kind of his thing was not really explaining what was real and what was fiction. He would even feed into this by lying to his fan base, telling them that the whole Psycho Dad series was actually real.
Now let's get to the very first question on everybody's mind and why you clicked on the frickin' video. Are the Psycho videos real? Are the Psycho videos fake? The videos are real. It's no doubt that these videos are real. This is shit I have to deal with.
And so for a long time, his fan base just thought he actually had a psychotic father who destroyed his stuff on a daily basis, which, as you can imagine, caused issues down the line when he was saying stuff and wanted his fan base to believe him, but they didn't because of all of this. And sometimes it was for good reason, and then other times he was the boy who cried wolf and no one believed him when he was telling the truth. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, we'll get into that. Why did he start StoryFire? Okay, we've been talking a lot about the creator. What is StoryFire? Well, within the midst of the first ad apocalypse, where YouTube really started to heavily demonetize videos it didn't see as advertiser friendly, a large majority of his videos started to get demonetized for some pretty obvious reasons, I feel like. And so being demonetized, none of these videos could make him any money. Thus, StoryFire was created. It was supposed to be a platform where he could make money while still making the stories he wanted. But more than just him, it was supposed to be for everyone. In its beginnings, many creators actually saw true potential in it. They saw it as a much needed competitor to YouTube, because I mean, let's just face it here. YouTube has a massive monopoly on long form video. I don't know, TikTok is trying to like inch into it with their 60-minute videos. Nobody is doing that. Okay, I'll just tell you right now. There's really nowhere else you can go for video other than YouTube. And so if there was finally a competitor to YouTube that could actually, you know, do something, that'd be sick, right? That'd be really cool. Now, something I haven't mentioned yet is that this platform was actually a collaboration between two people. We have Jesse, right? But then we also have this second player called Brian Spitz. He's not important right now, but he will be very important later on, okay? So remember that name. Keep that in the back of your noggin, all right? Now, StoryFire was created in 2017, around when crypto was starting to get big. Honestly, I feel like I can just end the video there. Okay, all I need to say is crypto, and you already know that this website's going nowhere. I'm sorry, okay? There's just, crypto is not it at all. Like, do you guys remember Cryptoland? That really weird scam that was around for like a little bit and then completely disappeared? That was just really weird. But anyways, as a way to monetize the website other than ads, they ended up adding this thing called Blaze, which is just a cryptocurrency that is currently priced at 0.0002761 cents. That doesn't sound the best. Is that good? I don't know. I don't think so. But its use on the website was that you could tip people with Blaze coins, and it's just another way for creators to monetize. Although for a long time, you couldn't even withdraw your Blaze.
What? How do I get the money out is the question.
So these tips that creators got were just practically completely pointless because they couldn't be converted into real money. It was also a thing at the time where to upload videos, you had to be verified. And so like the majority of people weren't able to upload their own videos. And only very recently have they changed it so that everyone can upload the videos now. So, I mean, obviously there are a lot of problems with this platform, but if these issues were solved, I don't know. It could be an actual competitor to YouTube. And so the push to try and grow the platform began. You know how streamers are sometimes signed to platforms to only stream there? Well, during 2020, StoryFire would kind of do a similar thing where they would pay creators to make videos on their platform, announcing their joining of the platform on their social media. Creators such as Brandon Rogers, Pyrocynical, FaZe Banks, and some ordinary gamers, as well as a bunch of others, were announced to be joining. One of the strangest to me, and at the same time funniest, is this person named Billy Mitchell. He got popular for speedrunning, then it got revealed that he was cheating, and then he just tries to sue anyone who accuses him of cheating. It's all very weird. That's a decision that they made. Regardless of who they did sign, they all got the same deal. Because unlike the deals that streamers would get, where they are exclusively supposed to stream at one platform, the creators who said they would be joining StoryFire weren't under an exclusivity contract. They didn't have to only post on StoryFire, they could continue to post on whatever platform. So many of these creators ended up only posting like a couple videos, and then they just returned back to YouTube. And that's if they even made any videos on StoryFire at all. And to be honest, I don't really blame them. I mean, why would you keep posting to StoryFire, a platform where you're only getting a small fraction of the views you would normally get on YouTube? And so creators not making any videos for the platform caused a big problem for StoryFire. Creators didn't have any viewers on the website to watch their videos, and so the viewers didn't have any original content to watch on StoryFire that they also couldn't just find on YouTube. And so this just kind of caused a problem for StoryFire that is really hard to solve. And so with so many creators paid with such little churn out, this was just a big loss for StoryFire. They paid a lot of money for their viewer base to barely grow. There's also another issue when you're trying to bring viewers over from an already established website like YouTube. It's really hard to make the viewers want to switch over. Even if StoryFire did get all of these creators to make videos exclusively for StoryFire, I feel like it would still struggle. I mean, we've seen this before. Mixer tried to do a very similar thing. They got Ninja and a bunch of other creators to stream exclusively on their platform. But I mean, look where all that money got them. They were only able to last 4 years. Something I haven't talked about yet, but I'm gonna get into, is how expensive these platforms are. And this is another issue with StoryFire. Platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, they can only exist because they are willing and able to spend a lot of money and to not get it back. YouTube is owned by Google, Twitch is owned by Amazon, and Kick is owned by Stake. All of these services are owned by massive companies. StoryFire is owned by a dude with a little bit more money than most. And when you're talking about storing terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of video files, and you're also paying for employees to work on the website, employees to make your app, making sure all of these things are always getting updated and getting better, the cost of doing all of this is just ridiculous.
And then the bill started getting to be like 6 figures a month to keep the app running.
Platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and Kick don't make money. That's why Twitch has made awful decisions to try and make money and has stopped their exclusivity contracts once again to try and make money. And Jesse doesn't have billions of dollars to throw away. There were also many controversies that Jesse himself found himself in. At one point, he had said he quit YouTube to go full-time on StoryFire. Woohoo!
Juggies,
This is the last video I'll ever make on YouTube.
And then a little while later, he undid that. It's, you know, not really the best look when the creator of the website is not willing to exclusively use the website. You know what I mean? It didn't take long for the eventual shutting down video, where Jesse echoes what I've been saying about how expensive video hosting is, and how he isn't finding investors to help with the costs.
StoryFire is shutting down February 1st, 2021. I know after a statement like that, you guys are probably thinking of back when I quit YouTube just a year ago. This is not clickbait.
So it seems that's the end for StoryFire, right? They're gonna shut down after the costs became too high and they couldn't find any funding. Oh, well, let's be honest. That's probably how it should have ended, but not for Jesse, okay? Jesse is not a quitter. Because in a follow-up video, the very last day before StoryFire was going to be shutting down, it was saved by a mysterious investor.
Literally the brink of shutdown. The brink of shutdown.
We get the privilege of seeing some Class A acting from Jesse and his business partner, Brian Spitz.
Here's the deal. Do you know that investor? Have you heard of him?
Yes. Wait, how the f do you know him?
He's my boy. I've hung out with him a ton. He's from the same area.
Right.
He's offered to throw some cash in. And I actually want to throw some cash in. And I want to make you an equal partner.
That seems totally believable.
I've hung out with him a ton. He's from the same area.
Right.
We will learn the truth about the mysterious investor, but we have to get to that, okay? We have some more to get through. Because at the time, a lot of people weren't believing Jesse and about this mysterious investor, thinking it was just a publicity stunt to try and get more users to StoryFire. I mean, it all just seemed very suspicious. A mysterious investor saving the company on the very last possible day because of the past actions that Jesse has done about blatantly lying to his fan base. This wasn't really out of the question for people to believe. But anyways, StoryFire just kept chugging along until there was once again another strange title. Jesse was selling StoryFire to the highest bidder as an NFT.
That's right, guys. We're selling StoryFire as an NFT. Upon execution of this deal, you literally get all access to StoryFire. We will be in touch directly with the buyer and will transfer ownership of everything.
Which I didn't know that you could sell a company as an NFT. Is that how that works? I guess, okay? I don't know nothing about this. In this video, he states he spent over $3 million on creating the platform, which that is a lot of money. Oh my god. Hopefully he makes back most of it with selling the company, right?
Sold for $15,000 or as an NFT to some guy named Deck Chair.
Okay, so only 15,000. Cool. Pretty much 3 million if you like squint your eyes a lot, you know? The buyer of it was some dude named Deck Chair. And now, again, because a lot of people were skeptical of Jesse at the time, they were thinking Deck Chair might just be Jesse and this is just another publicity stunt to try and get more users, which, you know, with his past, I'm kind of skeptical of too. But at the time, he was adamant that he was not Deck Chair.
Maybe you still think I'm Deck Chair, I'm not.
To add even more weirdness to this whole situation, 7 months after he sold his company, Deck Chair asked Jesse to become CEO of the company that Jesse just sold, to which Jesse then agreed.
As of today, I am officially the new CEO of StoryFire.
To which I then say, huh? What? What are you talking about? It is very ridiculous how much StoryFire has been through, okay? And Jesse too. I mean, they've both been through the ringer. StoryFire is just kind of like a failing product and nobody believes Jesse when he says anything. They both weren't doing very well, okay? But now we've got some answers, okay? Because in the year 2022, Jesse told us about the behind the scenes of StoryFire and what just went so wrong. Because in a video Jesse made reacting to a video somebody else made about his downfall, do you remember when I told you to keep the name Brian Spitz in the back of your mind? The business partner that was working on StoryFire alongside Jesse? Well, in this video that Jesse made, he had a lot of alleged stuff to say about Brian Spitz that I think it would just be better to let him speak about it.
I actually had the money to keep StoryFire going. We were
looking for outside investors, it's always better to use the VC money or whatever to fund something as ambitious as a platform, because you know, it's a lot risking your own on the line. But I'd put a few mil into StoryFire thus far. I was ready to put another mil into StoryFire. However, Brian, who believe it or not was the CEO of StoryFire, although a lot of people assumed I was, because I was always the face of it promoting it, but Brian gave me a equity deal from the get when I was young, and me being naive and stupid, not knowing my worth, I signed the deal, kept putting money in, getting terrible equity splits, and Brian always had control of StoryFire, and he refused to accept that me put more money in because he didn't want me to have more equity than him. And then he was trying to jam me up and trying to get like $10,000-$15,000 a month for himself. During the marketing push, I found out that Brian was taking money from the creators in the AdSense, and he was just putting it in his own bank account when it was intended for StoryFire.
Okay, if what Jesse is saying is true, I feel really bad for him. It seems that the whole behind the scenes of this operation was just really unhealthy. I don't know, there is this one side of me that wants to doubt Jesse, but like the majority of me wants to believe him. You know, why would he still be lying about this so many years later? And these are also very serious accusations. I feel like lying about this would not end well for him. And he also just seems a lot more genuine in this video. And nowadays, you know, I've watched some stuff from him and he just seems like a more down-to-earth person than he was. Because even in this video, he talks about how he understands that he makes it hard for people to believe him.
If you are always in character online and then you finally come out and are trying to be real, nobody's gonna know what's the real thing or what's the fake thing. And because there was a lot going on, I think people could tell that there was something behind the scenes happening that they couldn't tell what it was, and so they just immediately assumed it was like everything else. It was scripted or his first series of marketing stunt, which there's been times where it was for marketing. But that was one of those times. That was the real one. And we were shutting down and there was trouble amongst the founders. And the character in the lies, it bit me in the arse.
He knows that he wasn't making it easy for people to believe and understand what was really happening. And he also talks about why he ended up choosing to sell the company as an NFT and why he believed that to be the best choice.
And the reason why we sold it as NFT was I realized I couldn't trust my partner anymore. At that point, I was pretty much like, F it. There's nothing I can do anymore because he has control. So I tried to buy it from him. I tried to do everything I could. He agreed to selling it as an NFT because NFTs were so hot. I think the dollar signs flashed in his eyes. And then it was just a random auction. I don't think neither of us expected to sell for so little. I wrote the few mil as a loss. I'm never gonna get that back.
And he also talks about why he ended up leaving the CEO position at StoryFire after Deckchair gave it to him.
Deckchair did offer me a deal to be CEO of the company. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. I still didn't have control over what I felt was my company. I stepped down as CEO and kind of walked away from StoryFire and wanted to get back to the creative side.
He also says how the whole mysterious investor thing was just supposed to be him trying to cover up for Brian Spitz not being the greatest business partner.
I thought of some narrative stuff to try and explain our way out of it. Well, like, oh, let's have Brian be putting money in, and let's say we got money from this mysterious investor. So it became a whole contrived narrative just to cover the fact that Brian was stealing from me.
Which would make total sense, right? I mean, it would answer why they had such weird acting in that video and just why that whole situation was just really weird to begin with. But at the end of the day, you know, the only people who really know what happened are Jesse and Brian. I can take whoever's side I want. I can, you know, say whatever I want to you guys, but I don't know any more than the next person. You know? Yeah, you know. Nowadays, StoryFire is still up and running. It just doesn't seem to be doing very hot. Some videos can get a couple thousand views, but the vast majority get very less than that, which I don't know much about that, but it doesn't seem very sustainable for a website. I did end up uploading a couple videos of mine just because I was curious on how they would perform, which let me check right now. It's actually kind of crazy. 65, 16, and a 2. So a little bit of a drop off there, but there's no comments. Now currently, StoryFire only lets you upload 50 gigabytes of video at most, unless you buy their creator plan for $10 a month, where you can get up to a terabyte of storage. Now I do quickly just want to apologize if I did get anything wrong. I did do a lot of research for this video, but I am coming at this multiple years later. I never watched Jesse or went on StoryFire or, you know, any of that, so I wouldn't be surprised if I got something wrong, but I did spend spend a lot of time making this video. And yeah, that's the story of StoryFire. YouTubers can't make streaming services, or YouTube alternatives for that matter. Thanks for watching. Okay, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a fantastic morning, night, afternoon, 2 a.m. Maybe that's when you're watching this. I don't know. Maybe watch one of my other videos. They're pretty cool. All right, bye.
Subscribe, please.